throwing you online. So other than that, uh, your grades can definitely go up this quarter. If they go down, I wouldn't worry about it. Um, and I can explain that to you too. Okay, so if you have a question, unmute yourself and shout away.
Whether we like it or not, drug use and substance abuse is part of our society. As more governments pass laws to legalize drugs, more people experiment with them. Drugs and other mind-altering substances have been part of human society since the ancient times. Artists have long had a history of experimenting with drugs and alcohol, either to aid their creation or because they were addicted and in a destructive cycle. Others may have been under the influence or prescribed medications, and the side effects unconsciously played a part in their work. As Hunter S. Thompson said, I hate to advocate drugs, violence, alcohol, or insanity, but they always work for me. Some of the most world-renowned painters have been affected by, experimented with, or been inspired under their influence.
One of the most well-known painters from the modern art era, Jackson Pollock, participated in his fair share of art under the influence. Stemming from a troubled childhood and on and off again relationship with his alcoholic father, Jackson Pollock too turned to alcohol to help ease his misery. On occasion, family members would have to search the streets at night to find out which alley Pollock might be passed out in. Much of the emotions and experiences Pollock endured as a child can be seen expressed in his artwork. Pollock's famous piece The Flame, painted in 1938, is a great example of how his anxiety and anger come through his work. In this piece, you see Pollock's chaotic brushstrokes dominate the canvas, accompanied with his gloomy color choices. The flame could be seen as a reflection of his dark experiences in his childhood. As time progressed, Pollock's alcoholism escalated to new heights. By 1951, Pollock began to stray away from his use of color and begins his, quote, black period. At this point, Pollock has left behind his classic splatter style. His use of mostly using black color can be seen in his painting Number 7, which was completed in 1952. It is reflective of his mounting depression at this time. Most of his work during this time was painted all in black and sometimes contained images of mutilated figures. Pollock found it difficult to continue his painting as he spiraled deeper into his depression. He is now notoriously known as being one of the most skilled alcoholic painters of the modern art era.
Van Gogh as an artist was known to paint in a very expressive way that featured bright arrays of colors, often including yellows. One painting in particular, titled Sunflowers, is heavily monochromatic, using primarily only shades of yellow. For many, this choice of an all-yellow painting would be a form of composition or even simply a chosen style, but art historians argue that this might not have been the case. Van Gogh suffered from seizures, among other disorders, and was prescribed a drug called digitalis, which was commonly used to combat epilepsy at the time. A major side effect of taking this drug is having a yellow tint in your vision, causing the person taking it to see primarily in shades of yellow. This could be a key reason as to why many of Van Gogh's paintings included many shades of yellow, and why paintings such as Sunflowers were almost completely yellow. Art historians argue that these weren't choices in style or composition, but simply the way he actually saw the world. Besides using prescribed drugs, Van Gogh was also known to frequently drink absinthe, a popular highly alcoholic drink at the time. Some art historians would have pointed to this as a possible cause for the style of some of his paintings. However, Van Gogh himself had stated in letters to his brother that he felt that the use of alcohol was really more of a detriment to his art. He felt that his best works came when he was sober. This is a particularly interesting case of artists using drugs, because Van Gogh did not intentionally use digitalis to help with inspiration or to see a specific different view on the world. He also did not see a benefit to the use of alcohol while creating his art. He wasn't aiming to become a better artist through his drugs, he simply did what his doctor told him to do, and the drugs took effect, allowing him to paint his surroundings in a way that others could not. This inadvertently allowed him to become a leading figure in the post-impressionist art movement. He was able to push the boundaries by presenting the world in a way that only he could truly understand.
Picasso is one of the most influential artists of the 20th century who experimented with Cubism. However, Cubism isn't the only thing he experimented on. Picasso was also known to use psychotropic drugs such as opium. Common effects of usage included drowsiness, hallucinations, pupil constriction, and of course a sense of well-being. The effects in partaking these substances affected Picasso's vision significantly, that many believe is a result of his cubist work. The time lapse of his usage of opium started between the years of 1904 through 1906. This is the same timeline of his first relationship with Fernande Olivier and his artistic rose period artwork. According to Barry Panter, Creativity and Madness, Psychological Studies of Art and Artists, Picasso would smoke opium several times a week with Miss Olivier. Some may debate his experimentation with opium was a tool for his creativity, but instead it was an escape from reality and to share the same euphoric experience of nirvana with his significant lover. However, historians can agree that some of his influence can be seen in some of his work, particularly in Family of Saltimbanques in 1905. In this artwork, we can see figures such as harlequins and waifs with expressionless face that appear to be in a sedative mood and trance-like state of mind. His rose period has transitioned into a simpler, lighter palette with exuberant figures from a melancholy and somber hues of blues as seen in his blue period artwork. Fortunately, his addiction to opium was not in vain, as he worried about his own health after his friend committed suicide from a psychotic breakdown from having a cocktail of opium. Nevertheless, his relentless consumption of opium did not fracture his reputation nor his visionary achievement of spatial dimension, creating figures viewed from many angles simultaneously, which would be known as cubism.
Although we are not advocating for drug use in one's creative life, it is definitely part of our current society. Whether it's good or bad, it's not our place to say. Not all artists have used drugs or other substances as crutches in their creativity. Substances can alter the mind, but creativity still lies within the artist, and is not completely reliant on the consumption of drugs. Whether it's substance abuse or medicative use, being under the influence can be a part of a creative's daily routine, even subconsciously. Jackson Pollock, Vincent van Gogh, and Pablo Picasso are three of the world's most famous artists, not because of their substance use, but because of their talent. So before you roll up a joint, pull out a pipe, or pop a bottle, remember that their talent came first and they just happened to be under the influence.